Even as the government is now putting together a $2 billion fund to invest in the digital backbone for the country, it's important to also know that the 35,000 kilometers that we have, there's still some non-consumption in it as well, right? There are still critical institutions that are not using internet appropriately, perhaps because they don't have a clear understanding of the business model, which is how do they pay for it, how do they sustain it over time, what do they even do with it. So the Broadband Alliance that we've put together is a group of organizations, whether in government, private sector, telecommunications companies, governments from all the states in Nigeria, to help us accelerate the application of connectivity for economic progress. So how do we ensure that, for instance, we can effectively use the internet in schools? How do we ensure that if we can connect all of our hospitals, that it can improve the way we deliver health services, whether it's by ensuring that the records for our people are real time, or information being collected is available to the Ministry of Health, real time, so that they can take better informed decisions on how they use their resources. That is the kind of thing that connectivity can make happen. And if we don't ensure that these institutions are connected, our schools are connected, our universities, primary, secondary schools, government institutions, critical institutions are connected, then we do not truly benefit from it. So the essence of the Broadband Alliance is to first drive up that consumption, to ensure that when we invest in the infrastructure, it's not just sitting there, but there are use cases for how connectivity actually drive efficiency and progress in our country and across the country, not just in specific locations.
The National Broadband Alliance is primarily looking to address three areas. The first area is that of advocacy, where we'll be looking to address issues related to protection of infrastructure and addressing issues to do with multiple taxation. But we're looking to see how we can create demand which drives economic activity. So starting with government institutions, e-agriculture, e-health, e-learning, all of these, if we can create services and drive consumption of these services, would help to guarantee return on investment, which would further encourage infrastructure providers to come in and build this fiber infrastructure. This translates to job creation, increased economic activity, and lifting the general populace out of poverty, which in turn is into the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
So that is what the Broadband Alliance is set to do. And a good example of it is the Project 774, which is focused on providing connectivity to the local government secretariat, right? Secretariat. Because if you remember, the closest form of government to our people at the local government secretariat, this is where people go for birth and death registration, for marriage registration, for a lot of activities that you have to interact with government. That's the first point that you go to. And if these locations themselves are not connected, what you find is a disconnection between the points from which the service is being provided, but also the people who manage the services centrally, whether it's at the state level or at the federal level. So what we've done is to actually leverage our existing investment in satellite, because the satellite that we own, we're the only country in West Africa with a satellite, and that satellite has the capability to beam internet to even the most difficult to reach places. So we've taken that decision that we will use that satellite, and we've started using that satellite to offer internet services to the Secretariat. We've done the first pilot of this project, and we already see some of the locations that are now being connected.
When the Honorable Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosso Tijani, came up with this marvelous idea to ensure that we meet our mandate of providing digital services, not just in the unreached or untapped areas, but really starting from the key of the nation, which is the local government. It became clear that it would take more than one of the agencies to do it. We are glad and we've been fortunate to see the collaboration that has happened to help execute that. So we have agencies like NICOMSAT, NITA, we have agencies like Galaxy Backbone, all working together to help deliver this mandate.
The whole idea is to connect the local governments so that the local governments can key into the national digital transformation as part of the renewed hope of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Out of the 774 local governments, some of them will be connected using terrestrial fiber, which Galaxy Backbone is championing. So we'll be connecting 195 local governments through terrestrial fiber. For Galaxy Backbone, so far we've connected a couple of local governments, connected the Kuje local government and the Buhari local government, Abuja. Within the next couple of weeks, we're moving to Kwara, Zamfara, and possibly Maiduguri to connect more local governments.
We want to provide connectivity as mandated by the President in unserved and unreached areas, starting from our local government areas. And we're doing this by ensuring that in each local government, we have presence of internet connectivity. We've already started, which is great. And I think one of the greatest things I've seen is to see the joy in the faces of our population, our citizens, once they see this internet in their location. And of great importance is what we can do actually with providing connectivities in the local government. The fact that citizens can have access to government services. They don't need to travel far and wide to access it. They can access these government services right there in their local government areas. I think it's just a testament of the great things we can do as we continue to stick to the National Broadband Plan.
For the 774 connectivity project, I was in charge of Cross River, bringing up 5 local governments: Odun, Bani, Calabar South, Ikom, Ogoja, and then Yako. And it was key because the project ensured that these local governments were connected to life. It was a new breath of life, you know. And they were excited, I mean the local government staff, because they had the opportunity to do live conference call with Abuja, and you can see the excitement on their face. With the press of a button in the next morning, they are connected to the internet, and this was a good project.
Sokoto, the people in that community are very happy. They never expect they can do video conferencing via VSAT. They are so excited. Besides, they are facing challenges with power, but we're able to put solar, green energy for them so that they can be able to be browsing even if the power is not there.
I went to Kwara State, and I reached out to 5 local governments in the state. I reached out to our local government, Patiki local government, Ivelodun local government, Ilorin West local government, and Ilorin South local government. And it has been very fantastic. The people in the area were so very happy seeing night concert working, and the internet was very fast and up and running.
The project 774 is a very important project that we have been yearning for as a state in Imo. When the project 774 came on stream through the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, we welcomed it with both arms. And we were lucky as a state to be one of the pioneer states where 5 of its local governments benefited from this program. So in Imo, we are very appreciative of the Honorable Minister for coming up with such a project. Once we are connected to the internet, it is a big opportunity for Nigeria to leapfrog and join the rest of the world and become a very strong digital economy that will be reckoned with.
Project 774 is basically to facilitate increased access of broadband in government. And what do I mean by that? Government in the sense that we have 774 local governments in the country, and this particular arm of government needs their special attention to ensure that there are access in terms of connectivity in this area. There's going to be a positive impact when the 774 connectivity project assumes increased implementation. And the area that we're going to look at is increased internet activities, then improve economic activities, and above all, increase or enhance citizen engagement. What do I mean by that? That area of citizens engagement has to do with, for example, you have maybe the national identity program that will now be, you can initiate the process at the local government level. You can even look at areas of the international passport bill. You can commence that process at the local level, driver's license, and many other things. That means people do not need to travel far to do one or two of these kind of activities. It can be initiated at their local government.
First of all, I would like to start by appreciating the federal government, specifically the Minister of Communications, Innovations and Digital Economy, Dr. Boshun Tijani, for including Sokoto State as one of the pilot states for the Project 774. As a permanent secretary, I was consulted, and I also took part in ensuring the reception, the space allocation, deployment, and also testing of all the equipments brought on behalf of this 774 project.
For Kwara, we're lucky to be one of the first states to get this initiative. And the team from the Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy that came to Kwara, they are really superb. They did a lot, and from their recommendations or their feedback, they said that Kwara is one of the states that has one of the best signals in terms of the tracking and all of that. So we're really excited. And when you look at that Project 774, because I personally visited at least 3 out of those 5 local governments that they started with in Kwara. And our team also visited them because they work together with the engineers from Abuja. And it's really the reception, even from the people at the local government, is very superb, because it will also make them more connected, and it will also open up those houses.
And as we go through the digitalization, full digitalization of public and government services, you will find that it makes it then easier for us to ensure that the last mile where people will consume these services, that we have connectivity in them. So that's what Project 774 is all about.